sustainability is not a standalone agenda. Looking forward to a clean energy economy is not a standalone agenda. It truly is, from an enterprise perspective, about business strategy. Everyone owns it. It's alignment to a vision. It's action to achieve the vision. And there's a lot of opportunity when you start thinking about, how do I consume finite resources in a smarter capacity? Or how do I not consume them in the first place and replace them with better alternatives? And there's a lot of opportunity for all of us to engage and think about, what does sustainability mean to my enterprise?
Jobs versus environment. That notion that if you are for one and you are against the other is no longer true, if it ever was. Vibrant economies are ones that don't stand still. They innovate. They create new opportunities to address problems. And the more people participate in a creative and innovative economy, the healthier and more self-sustaining our families and communities are.
Obviously, for us, good business and good values sort of go hand in hand, but I think we're now starting to see an entire world where it's just inseparable. And this is taking over the rest of sort of corporate culture, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it means better business. To break it down a little bit, ESG, first of all, let's just define it again. It's environmental, it's social, it's governance, right? There's sort of three aspects where we are looking for indicators that show performance to those goals. And what we found over time is that quality performance and companies that are leading on those things actually do better from a profit perspective, right? There's more than 2,200 studies over the last few years have found out that by 12 to 1, there's this positive correlation between companies that are leading on ESG and doing better and their financial performance. So that is just sort of where now the world is.
So a core tenet of the Build Back Better plan is an agenda to take on the climate crisis. It is a $2 trillion investment in infrastructure and clean energy. It is accelerated over 4 years. If you hear a lot of policy budget discussions, probably over 10-year windows. This is a 4-year investment. And the reason is that we are accelerating investments to grow our economy and recognize the need for urgent action now to create jobs and pull us out of this recession. So the $2 trillion is a combination of fiscal investments. That's investments in things like electric vehicle charging stations, retrofitting buildings, yes, investing in solar and wind, investing in high-speed rail and a better electric grid. It's also research investments, investing in future technology like better battery storage, like Congressman Stevens said. So we're not just developing the future technologies, but we are also exporting them to the rest of the world and will be the world's leader in clean energy innovation.
We see a lot of inequality throughout our country. Infrastructure is the great equalizer, ushering in the technologies and the innovations and the capacity to really lead is within our grasp if we do the infrastructure agenda properly. And that means tying in clean energy because we're paying for it. We're paying right now for not having clean energy initiatives as part of our infrastructure agenda.
We know that the growth in clean energy jobs is faster than in fossil fuels. We know that the Build Back Better plan will create net millions of jobs across this country. When you talk about what Cecilia was talking about upgrading 4 million commercial buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes, building 1.5 million homes, rebuilding the grid, 1 million jobs in the auto industry, building clean rail around this country. That's millions of net jobs. It's not millions of jobs. It's millions of net jobs when you take out the job loss.
The other thing that's really notable and important to consider when we're talking about investments like this is that we're also creating jobs. We're creating jobs for the employees in the Detroit area. We're going to have 2,200 good paying jobs in that location. And And those employees will have skill sets that are very different from the skill sets that we've traditionally needed. Along with that, we're investing in our plant in Orion, Michigan, which will also expand its ability to build electric vehicles, adding about 400 jobs. And underpinning that is our battery cell architecture, where we have a joint venture that is being built right now, a joint venture facility that's with LG Chem, and we're building that facility in Lordstown, Ohio right now. And it will produce the battery cell that powers our future electric vehicles, and we will hire about 1,100 workers in that facility. So it's not just investment in technology and in real estate, but it's investment in people that's going to help us pivot to the all-electric future.
The vision we have at GM, we call it 000, and it stands for zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. So we see the future as a 000 future, and we try to do all of our planning and our execution to enable that future. And we'll be building these products in factories in the United States. We build the Bolt today in Michigan. We're going to build the all-new Hummer EV, which we've announced in Michigan, and we're going to build batteries in Ohio. We have a groundbreaking that's underway on a new battery plant in Ohio. So we're very excited about that. We also are building autonomous vehicles. We believe all AVs should be EVs. We think it's right for emissions. We think it's right for cities, and we think it's the right way to go forward on AVs.
Vice President Biden's Build Back Better plan is a positive vision for our country, and it's a win-win-win for our planet, for environmental justice, and for working people across America. This climate plan is a jobs plan, and this jobs plan is an environmental justice plan. That's why we're all working together.
And now as we think about the technology going forward, we need to be thinking as a company, how do we train people who have been working in one part of our industry to be able to work in another part of our industry? Obviously, the skills are going to be very different to be a solar technician than they are to work in a fossil plant. So it's incumbent upon us in industry to be thinking about that. It's incumbent upon us to work with our partners in government on training programs that will help people transition to these new jobs, because we're not obviously talking about a lack of effort or ambition. We just need to make sure that people have the right skills.
We've made great progress. You know, in the last 40 years, we've seen fuel efficiency improve more than 130%. We celebrate that, but we need more. We need more engagement in innovation, in technologies, in solutions that pull the carbon out of our operations. And at United, we believe that it is time for a clean energy revolution. It is time for us to engage across a collaborative approach with industry, with NGOs, with policymakers, so that we can realize the future that we'd like to see for our future generations. It's time that we accelerate this agenda by working together. And it's crucially important right now that we're at this tipping point where our constituents are asking, our passengers are asking us to change the way that we do business. And it's time that we partner to realize that.